In the early 19th century, North America stood on the edge of chaos. The young United States faced off against the mighty British Empire, and the battleground would be none other than the vast, rugged land of British Canada. This is the story of the War of 1812, a war of invasion, resistance, and rising national identity. Following the American Revolutionary War, tensions between the United States and Great Britain never fully disappeared. By the early 1800s, several issues reignited hostilities. British naval forces were seizing American ships and forcing sailors into service, a practice known as impressment. Trade restrictions imposed by Britain, aimed at crippling Napoleon's France, also hurt American commerce. Meanwhile, in the western frontier, indigenous nations, many supported by the British, resisted American expansion. The U.S. believed British support of native resistance was a direct threat to its growth. For American war hawks in Congress, war seemed not only justified but necessary. On June 18, 1812, the United States declared war on Britain. With British forces focused on the Napoleonic Wars in Europe, the U.S. saw an opportunity to strike north. Leaders believed Canada, then a British colony, could be easily captured. But they were wrong. American forces launched multiple invasions into Upper and Lower Canada. Early campaigns were plagued by poor leadership, lack of coordination, and logistical nightmares. In July 1812, General William Hull surrendered Detroit without a fight, a humiliating blow to U.S. morale. Canadian militia, British regulars, and Indigenous warriors, led by figures like Tecumseh, fiercely defended their land. The failure of the American invasions boosted Canadian unity and pride, sowing the seeds of Canadian identity. While land campaigns often faltered, the U.S. Navy surprised many. Despite being smaller, it scored several victories against the Royal Navy. The U.S. Constitution, nicknamed Old Ironsides, became legendary after defeating British ships in battle. Control of the Great Lakes was vital. In 1813, Commodore Oliver Hazard Perry secured a crucial victory at the Battle of Lake Erie, declaring, "We have met the enemy and they are ours." This victory enabled the Americans to retake Detroit and pursue British forces into Canada, leading to the death of Tecumseh at the Battle of the Thames. In 1814, after Napoleon's temporary defeat, Britain turned its full attention to the American conflict. British troops launched a powerful invasion along the eastern seaboard. They captured Washington, D.C., and in a shocking moment, set fire to the Capitol and the White House. But American resilience held strong. At Fort McHenry in Baltimore, U.S. defenders repelled a massive British naval bombardment. Witnessing the flag still flying, Francis Scott Key penned the poem that would become the Star-Spangled Banner. After 2.5 years of bloody stalemate, both sides sought peace. The Treaty of Ghent was signed on December 24, 1814, and officially ended the war. It restored pre-war borders and resolved few of the war's causes. Ironically, the most famous American victory, the Battle of New Orleans, led by Andrew Jackson, occurred after the treaty had been signed due to slow communication. Though the war ended in a draw, its legacy was far-reaching. For the United States, it sparked a new sense of nationalism and political unity. For Canada, the war strengthened colonial loyalty to Britain and encouraged a distinct Canadian identity. And for Indigenous nations, it marked a tragic turning point as British support faded. So too did native resistance. The War of 1812 may be forgotten by many today, overshadowed by larger global conflicts. Yet it shaped the destiny of three nations, the United States, Canada, and Britain, and altered the course of history on the North American continent. It was a war born of unresolved anger, and it ended not in victory, but in transformation. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more gripping stories from history. Until next time, stay curious.